Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for joining us. Hi. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Incentivized Code Contest AMA. And we're going to share with you all a little bit about what the Gravity Bridge is and does and why it's so awesome. And then we're going to turn it over to the fine folks here at Code for Arena to share a bit how it works, how you can get involved, what the contests are, how that all works, and all the exciting stuff around that. I want to also thank and give a shout out to Omniflix, who is hosting this call. They are a great Cosmos ecosystem partner. And thank you so much for allowing us to host our chat here. So with that, I will turn it over to Justin to share about Gravity Bridge and why it's awesome.
Yeah, so Gravity Bridge is a Cosmos SDK module, and this is pluggable code that you can insert into any Cosmos SDK blockchain that creates a bridge to any EVM-based chain. And you'll notice that's a kind of a generic statement. It's not just a bridge to Ethereum, it's a bridge to any chain that implements the EVM. And this, along with a laundry list of other targets around efficiency and decentralization, were our main goals for the design of the Gravity Bridge. How it works at a very high level in a short 30-second way, because I'll be happy to answer more questions about this later, is that the validator set of the Cosmos SDK proof of stake chain actually controls all the assets on Ethereum, and the control and security of the assets is directly proportional to the decentralization of the Cosmos SDK validator set. And this really simple premise allows us to create a very flexible bridge and also the most efficient bridge when it comes to withdrawing assets to Ethereum. We are looking at something like a 20x to even it could be greater than 20 to 100x cost reduction in sending funds from Cosmos back to Ethereum through our highly efficient batching scheme, which takes what is normally the most expensive part of bridges, the part that makes you put your assets on a side chain and never want to bring them back, and changes that entire dynamic. So yeah, that is Gravity Bridge, and I'm really excited to talk about it today.
I think one other thing I wanted to highlight I think is really exciting about Gravity Bridge is, you really have, kind of two ecosystems right now that are somewhat siloed, right? You have the Cosmos ecosystem and you have the Ethereum ecosystem. Bridging that liquidity together really, allows that interoperability that brings open marketplaces, allows DeFi to explode. Like, this really is an exciting, opportunity here within the Cosmos ecosystem to see that the next iteration of growth here for Cosmos and Cosmos DeFi. So excited about that as well. So how do they get involved? I'll turn that over to you, Lou and Jay. And you can explain how the contest works.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jay. I'm on the Code for Arena team, which we call ourselves C4 for short. I'll let Lou introduce himself really quickly.
Hey, everybody. Lou here. Looking forward to this new league for the Cosmos and telling you more about what we do here at C4.
Thanks, Lou. Lou and I are on the growth team. We call ourselves gardeners. So we help with a variety of things for our smart contract audit contest, including sponsorshipping, helping with reporting, judge recruitment, and warden communication, as well as contest communication. So what does Code for Arena do? So ultimately, we run security audit contests that allow sponsors to get things done, move fast, and ship. We started in February of this year. And up until this point, we've been focusing on smart contract audits in the Ethereum ecosystem, but now we're moving on to the Cosmos ecosystem. Althea Network's Gravity Bridge will be our first contest, which we're really excited about. So how a contest works is ultimately we have wardens, sponsors, and judges. Our sponsors are the companies and projects that are coming to us looking to secure their contracts. So in this case, that would be Althea's Gravity Bridge. We have our wardens, which are security researchers that are doing the bug hunting and trying to find exploits in the code ultimately to make the code more secure. And then we have our judges who are, once the bugs are found, once the sponsor has taken a look at all of the findings, the judges are the ones who are, really figuring out the severity of the findings, as well as allocating the prize pool to the wardens. So we have, every contest has a prize pool associated with it. For this one, it's $100,000 USDC plus tokens. And so once the contest opens, the Gravity Bridge contest, which will be opening later tonight in about 9 hours, wardens will be able to review the code, review the contracts, and then find bugs. In this case, our contest normally lasts 1 to 2 weeks. This specific contest is lasting for 2 weeks. So once it opens, wardens will have that amount of time to find bugs, exploits, and all of that. And then once the contest closes, the sponsor will take a look at the findings and then figure out if they agree, disagree, or acknowledge the issues reported. The judge will then review that as well, and then they will essentially distribute the prize pool amongst the wardens based on what they found and how severe those findings are. And that's a little bit about how the contest works. Did I miss anything, Lou?
That all sounded good to me.
Awesome. So if you want to participate in this Gravity Bridge contest, we will post a link to our Discord. That's a way to get started. So if you want to be the bug finder, you can hop into our Discord, join the I Want to Be a Warden channel, and essentially just say hello, and then we'll get you started on how to do that. I also wanted to take this quick opportunity to shout out OmniFlix for hosting this amazing AMA and giving us the technology to do this. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. And you can see the Discord link right there.
Thank you.
How about if they have questions, like how on how the process works, or on that as well? And also, I think it's really exciting that the way that you have the contesting structured. I don't know if anyone has any questions about that, but I think that's always like the first one. How are the prizes allocated, right?
Yeah.
Which I think, if anyone has any further questions about that. Maybe you can share a little bit also too about the way that this typically goes with other projects, like, if there's been any insights on other contests that you've had in the past, and kind of share a little bit about the C4 story too. I think it's really interesting to this kind of audit structure.
Yeah, absolutely. You want me to take that one, Jim?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
So,
Thanks.
We're pretty young. We've been around since February. We've done 24 so contests. We're on 27. There are a few in the pipeline. And this is not your traditional audit, and it's not a bug bounty, in that there is this very focused time frame. In the case of this contest, it's 2 weeks. Usually it's 1 week. And everyone's in sort of this healthy competition where they submit their findings over the course of the week, and instead of some sort of first come, first serve, whoever submits first to file type mechanism, everyone submits, and then the judge will go through and determine which submissions are actually similar and that they're duplicates of each other, and the portion of the pot that would be distributed to that issue gets split up amongst all the wardens who found the same issue. Furthermore, we have a magnifier, a multiplier for what we call high severity issues that could result in the loss of funds. And then it goes down to medium level severity, which is only X3. And those are things more related to efficiency, or, a level below the total drainage of your contract. And then it goes all the way down to gas optimization level, any sort of insights into the code base that might make it more efficient, robust, and especially while fees are still super high, reduce gas usage. So there's a whole algorithm for how the 200,000, or I believe this one's $150,000, and how it all split $100,000. I forget that there's the other contest. $100,000. Everything must go though. This isn't quite like a bug bounty where you find something with no guaranteed payout because you and the company that you were doing third-party freelance security research for didn't see eye to eye. We distribute it all, even if only one gas optimization was found, that person would get $100,000. I don't think that'll ever happen, but that's kind of our incentivization of the wardens, and it's very cool because you get a very diverse the range of submissions, the people's approaches, their backgrounds. Instead of being traditionally trained security researchers who work for a company that might have the same philosophy or ethos, the people that we recruit to be our wardens are from any background. They could be anonymous. They might be really good at spotting one type of vulnerability. They might have a different approach, a different way of communicating it. So what we see are a lot of submissions that as a whole paint a pretty unique picture of the security issues that might be present in the contract that is being penetration tested. So that's and it's not a replacement for things like Immunify or a traditional quant stamp. It's more so in addition to doing a traditional audit, just to kind of fill out the edges of what crowdsourcing, what people might be able to find out on their own. And let's see. So yeah, that's probably the coolest aspect about this project is its time has come. It used to be that banks had software on servers and you didn't really have the incentive to open source your software and let anyone poke and prod at it. But the blockchain changed all that because people are gonna attack your software anyway. So might as well throw it out there beforehand and do a little open access audit.
The more eyes on the code, the better.
I think Coco made a good point there. There have been a lot of bridge accidents lately too. So, making sure that we have lots of eyes on the code as well makes good sense and is very timely, right? I think what's interesting too that there is that diversity of voices, like I think you were just saying, Lou, that can come from this sort of an audit, right? As opposed to the more traditional ones. Gravity Bridge will also be audited by formal auditors as well. But I'm really excited to see what a diverse set of entrants in the code contest will also bring forth, right? I think opening it up in this sort that the Gravity Bridge will be opened up to the world. So it's good to get all eyes on it now so we can, go forward together with it, the most secure bridge that we can.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had comments from other sponsors in the past that have been really happy with the diversity of feedback and bugs found by our wardens. So I would expect a similar result here. And as Lou said, some of our wardens are coming from different backgrounds, different experience levels. And in some cases, that could be a good thing, right? Because they're looking at it from a different perspective. And in some cases, wardens have even teamed up in the past. So if for some reason you feel a little bit more junior and you want to get in on this, we absolutely have space and even a channel in our Discord if you want to form a team with a more experienced researcher, as an example, to team up to do something like this. So that's also an option.
Yep, just wanted to add. So yeah, we provide this very focused kind of short blitz look at the code under question, but also, of course, in the short term, our goals are to get the wardens paid, to shore up the smart contract and get rid of any vulnerabilities. But our more long-term goals, more education-oriented goals are to create this repository of audits that people coming into the space can come learn from. If you're new to security research, let's say for this contest, you suddenly have an opportunity to come talk to the developers of what might be your favorite project that you might not ever get in any other audit situation. And so yeah, long term, we're trying to address this absence or this shortage of smart contract security experts and talent as we keep all this as open as possible and knowledge oriented.
I think that's a really great point. I mean, across many different industries, we're seeing a talent shortage right now. And I think, as blockchain starts exploding, the timelines to get, quality audits done are very long. So I think it's and we also have a difficulty in finding good developer resources as well. So this, I think, also just sort of lifts up the whole blockchain ecosystem by many different entrants being able to come in, learn, grow, and get paid for contributing as well. So exciting to see this kind of format. I wonder.
Hey, so it looks like Deborah is having some computer issues. So I think that the next thing that we were going to go on to was to ask the crowd if they had any questions that they would like to start with, so that we can move into the AMA part of this AMA. So while everybody's getting their questions ready, I'll talk a little bit about how sort of Gravity Bridge approaches security, specifically relevant to that existing comment about how many bridge accidents there are, because what we're building is the metaphorical equivalent of a bank vault on a blockchain. Because normally, you have something. I know the DAO hack is pretty far back in history, but it's a good example here of how blockchains are self-referential and really catastrophic vulnerabilities can be sort of rolled back. And this is especially true on smaller blockchains and chains with robust governance, like a lot of Cosmos SDK chains. But the risk profile for blockchain bridges is different because you are taking more risk and you are specifically concentrating assets in a single contract in the bridge, and trying to make them accessible, and balancing these two priorities is very similar to your priorities when you're designing actual bank vault. You need to be able to get in, but you also need to make sure that it is secure. So how the Gravity Bridge works is that the signers is that the contract on Ethereum mirrors the voting power and keys. Well, not precisely the keys; they have different keys. But it mirrors the voting power of the validators on the Cosmos side of the chain. So Cosmos has a proof of stake system. It has weighted. It has delegated staking, and of course weighted voting is part of that. And we emulate this as closely as possible in the Solidity contract. So to execute a withdrawal or to perform a deposit, etc., it's literally just a weighted vote of the validators from the Cosmos side of the bridge executed on the Ethereum side. And this is what gives us our wonderful flexibility when it comes to different different EVM chains. Our bridge is portable because it's fundamentally built around this concept of the validators making decisions, as opposed to trying to read signatures or interpret the data from the Ethereum chain. The validators themselves are simply running a light client, or if they choose, a full node for the Ethereum chain, and they report the status and vote on the status of the Ethereum chain into the Cosmos SDK. And this sort of separates the chain light client, which normally gets built into the bridge software itself, out into a separate component. And that lets us be very pluggable. So it doesn't really matter the underlying consensus of the EVM chain, just that it implements the Ethereum virtual machine. I'm sorry, I was just taking a second to read some comments here, but it doesn't look like we have any new questions yet, but I'll trust somebody else to bring those up for me.
One thing that might be good to talk about is, like, I think you kind of talked about some of the areas where maybe some focus should be. Maybe you can share with some of the wardens, like, where they should put their focus, or where they can find information about that.
That sounds excellent. And throughout the design of Gravity Bridge, we have worked really hard to reduce complexity and take parts out. So a lot of bridges, like I was just saying, try to interpret the signatures of the chain on the other side. And we took that part out. We took the light client out and made it a separate component that the validators just talk to and like vote on the output of. Likewise, we took out the concept of having like a different voting set for the bridge versus the chain validator set. The voting set for the bridge is the chain validator set. Now, the point I'm trying to get to here is that there's one place where we added complexity. And this was very specifically to reduce the most expensive part of operating a bridge, which is withdrawing the funds back to Ethereum. Now, the reason this is always the most expensive is because somebody has to go and run the entire bridge program, check all the signatures from the various signers and verify that it's all okay. If you were to implement a light client for your bridge on the, Ethereum side, that would be expensive to run. If you're going to implement a weighted voting system like we have with Gravity, that is expensive to run. So how do we take this extremely expensive task, on the order of, let's see, 6 or 7 times more expensive than a normal ERC20 send? How do you take this very expensive task and make it cost effective? And the answer is that you distribute it across more withdrawals. So we created this concept of batching, and that is when a user requests a withdrawal to Ethereum, it is placed into a batch. And this batch is then executed all at once. So we distribute the large cost of verifying all the signatures over many transactions. And this allows both high throughput on the Cosmos to Ethereum side, and also extremely low fees on the order of 13,000 gas instead of on the order of 180 or 200,000 gas per withdrawal, provided that we have enough volume to actually fill that batch. Now, of course, as like auditors or security interested people, I'm sure your immediate thought when you heard those words was, well, that sounds complicated. And yes, the batching system is somewhat complicated. We take transactions so we take transactions from a pool of things that are ready to go across. We put them into batches. Then we wait for Oracle events saying we have executed the batches, or the batches was impossible to execute. And if it was impossible to execute, we have to refund the user. There's a whole document called batch creation spec in our repo, which goes over this in minute detail. And there are a significant number of edge cases, and there's a lot of places where the transaction gets moved in and out. So this is a prime location to find a double spend bug. In addition, I think I'll wrap up there and take another question, because there is a whole document in our repo called Hotspots, which goes over all of the different places where I believe there are likely like minor implementation problems. And well, I mean, they're not minor if they're exploited, but they're minor in terms of the amount of code that they actually take up.
I think Lou asked a question in the chat a bit about some of our early infrastructure around our blockchain for Toko, and how we were thinking about doing a DAO to pay what we call our network operators, and we do actually have evolved into a just directly on-chain solution now. But that brings up a good point. So Althea has a blockchain for Toko, and that is what is distributed internet infrastructure. However, for the purpose of this audit, we are focusing on the Gravity Bridge, which is the Ethereum to or the EVM to Cosmos Base, which we built because we needed to have access to stablecoins within the Cosmos ecosystem. And we're excited for UST and Terra to come along. And also the Gravity Bridge will bring in things like DAI and USDC and other stablecoins from the Ethereum ecosystem, which is what was why we started building it in the first place, which might give some context to the intersection between those two projects.
It looks like we have a couple questions in the comments. African freelancers asking, is Althea choosing not to deploy on the Cosmos Hub due to security? Is then you want to be sure of how secured the bridge is, or it's because of the Gravity DEX and the Cosmos Hub?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that what we want to just emphasize here is that the Gravity Bridge will exist in many blockchains, including the Hub, and like we see it now in Sommelier and Injective, and it will continue to exist in many blockchains as modules on the Cosmos side. So I think that it's important for security of all of those things to have really good auditing. So. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, there's, I'll just read it from MMS Bloodhound. How would the GBB work with the bridge on the Hub? Would this fragment the ERC20 liquidity on DEXs since there be multiple variations of a specific ERC20 token from both instances of the bridge?
So I think I'll go ahead and take that question. So this is to some degree going to happen no matter what we do. There are already two chains, which Deborah just mentioned, Sommelier and Injective, that are working on launching Gravity Bridge, launching a Gravity Bridge version that is tuned to their own applications in the near future. So there's going to be a little bit of fragmentation no matter what we do. Just because obviously Gravity Bridge is open source, that's how we're doing this open source audit, and it's not really possible or something that we want to do to stop other modules from, to stop other chains from launching with the module. Our goal is to support all of them with the maximum security that we can. Yes. Now, getting back to this particular issue, I imagine that most chains will pick a particular bridge and say, yes, this is the one that we're going for our ERC20 representation. And now ERC20 representation deployment is permissionless, so you might have a little bit of spam on that effect where it happens on every bridge. But I suspect that individual chains which are making use of Gravity over IBC will have to sort of pick and choose the bridge they believe to be the most trustworthy and the most secure, which, like I was saying before, is proportional to the validator set as much as it is the Gravity Bridge code itself. So we are working very hard to make the code as secure as we can, but it is also up to the host chain to produce a produce a bridge that people trust. It's not a one component thing.
And definitely appreciate all the participants here who are joining us to take a look at the code and review that and build that together for the whole ecosystem.
There's a question about which I don't know if this was covered, so apologies. Is the code audit program applicable for all chains that would eventually use Gravity Bridge, or is it an implementation for a specific chain?
That's a great question. So in the case of Sommelier and Injective, they are both writing applications that run on Ethereum that need custom integration. So they are working on different branches, and they don't necessarily have all the security features that the Althea branch is currently working on and is currently subject to audit. On the other hand, we do cooperate and pull in fixes from each other. So vulnerabilities found here will be obviously responsibly disclosed to other online chains if they are online. They're not yet, but that's probably going to happen fairly soon. And we will work together to increase the overall security of the Gravity Bridge while also allowing other chains to experiment with the code and do things that are not necessarily part of the stock bridge functionality. Because in this case, both of these other chains are doing stuff that's not bridging. It's interacting with the Ethereum ecosystem in some other way. I hope that's a clear explanation, because there's a lot of nuance in exactly what code is running where.
Sounds
I think
great.
they all share a lot of. I think that the kind of the fundamental thing is they do all share a lot of the core component. So undoubtedly, the work that's done here will be applicable to many different instances of the Gravity Bridge.
And I think there are a couple of questions in chat along the lines of, when will this be deployed? And the answer is, there is no fixed date yet. Obviously, we're still working on auditing to ensure maximum security. But obviously, other chains can take the module and launch it anytime they feel comfortable with. So once again, that answer becomes nuanced as sort of the ecosystem becomes open and sort of a little bit fragmented. And that's the thing about Cosmos, because it's an SDK and because Gravity Bridge is really different from a lot of other cross-blockchain bridges. Not only for all these technical reasons, but also just conceptually. It's not a bridge for one chain. It's a bridge for all Cosmos SDK chains. So we're going to see some nuances there. But the advantages are that since all implementations of Gravity Bridge share the same core code and the same core design, audits for one help everybody. And one being in production, the lessons learned there also help other implementations, and lessons learned along with vulnerabilities can be shared.
All right, y'all. I think that may wrap that up, and we can get to contesting. You can find us in the Discord that was listed earlier. And feel free to reach out with any questions. We look forward to working together and getting many eyes on this thing.
Yes, definitely join our C4 Discord. The contest for the Gravity Bridge starts in about 9-ish hours. It launches August 26th at midnight UTC, and then the contest lasts for 2 weeks. There's $100,000 plus on the line here, so definitely participate. And once you join that Discord, if you want to be a security researcher, definitely hop into the I Want to Be a Warden channel, say hi, and you'll get to interact with all of us on this call in the Discord as well. So we would love to see you there.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing a new Cosmos League scoreboard go up on the C4 site. And this is going to be a pretty exciting 2 weeks as we get into our biggest contest yet.
Cool. So thanks, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you in the Discord.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.